everyone, my name is Miss Sara from the Wixom Public Library and welcome to our instructional video for our tween Constellation Art craft kit. So we are going to go over the supplies you should have picked up from the library and what you're going to need at home before we get into the instructions. And as always, if you have any questions or you are missing anything in your supplies, please always reach out to us and let us know. Okay, so in the bag you picked up from the library, you should have a small black canvas. You are going to have 3 cups of acrylic paint. So it is important to know that this will come off of your hands and your skin, but if you get it on your clothes, it will potentially stain and stay there. So be careful with the paint. You're gonna have a paintbrush. You're gonna have 2 little baggies. So one will have glitter and one will have some studs and screws. You're also going to have a sheet of constellations, star patterns. So what you're not going to have is a pencil and some type of glue. So I'm going to be using hot glue because it'll dry really fast. You could still use regular glue, but just know it is going to take a lot longer to dry. Okay, so if you have hot glue, I would recommend that. Okay, so let's get started with our craft. Okay, so to get started, this project will have a few drying parts in the middle. So our first step is going to be with our black and blue paint and have your glitter handy. So I've got this paper down to kind of help keep mess up. The paint would come off of the surface, but you would need to get it before it dries. Okay, so we're gonna get our brush and we're gonna start with the black. So I know this is a black canvas, but the paint is going to be used to hold the glitter on after, and that way too you don't have to worry about scratches or anything, like if there's a flaw on the canvas. And if you make a mistake, acrylic paint is really easy to paint over, so just let it dry and you can paint more. Okay, so we're just going to start. I'm just going to swipe, and this is very free form. Yours does not have to look like mine. Yours will look however you want it to look. So I'm just going to start. We're kind of going for like an ombre melted into each other, like swipey look. It's just supposed to look like a swirling sky. So I'm just trying to get it wet enough that the glitter will stick on it. So we're working kind of fast because acrylic paint does dry decently fast because we want to get our glitter on there. So we're just kind of going down about halfway. And then you don't have to change your brush because we're mixing them together. We're gonna start picking up our blue. So I'm gonna start up here, just kind of swiping them together. And then as we go down towards the bottom, we'll make sure that it's more just blue. So the farther down you go, the darker the blue will go. And in the middle is where you're mixing the black and blue together to kind of make a swirling sky. And again, you could paint the whole thing blue, you could paint the whole thing black. You don't have to do any of it. It is up to you. It's your craft. But I'm just kind of making mine. It's very free form, however you want it to look. I'm going to do a little bit more black up here. And just a little bit more blue on the bottom. So I'm pretty happy. Maybe a little bit more blue. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with my sky. Make sure you paint your sides if you're planning to hang it and display it. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to lay this down, and then again, working quickly, we're going to open our glitter bag and be careful about your surroundings. I would recommend taking just a little pinch of your glitter and just sprinkling it over your canvas. And don't shake it or move it around too much yet, because you're going to let the glitter dry into the wet paint. Okay, I think I'm about happy with that. Again, you can use as much or as little glitter as you want. You also don't have to use any glitter. And then we're going to carefully seal up the extras. You can use it for another craft. And then we're going to let this dry, and we're going to wash and dry our brush because we're going to use it again later. Okay? Okay, so now that our canvas is dry with our glitter on there, we are going to work on laying out our pattern. So you were given a sheet with some constellation ideas on it. So you can pick your favorite from here. You can pick another one. You can do a few. It's up to you what you want to do. I'm going to do the Big Dipper just because I like that one. So what I would recommend is getting a pencil and getting your grommets ready and your silver paint ready. So you do have two options. If you want, you can try poking the studs and their screw through the canvas and screwing them on there, but it is kind of hard. You could also use glue or hot glue. So I'm going to be using hot glue just so I don't have to try to poke holes through my canvas, but you do have those two options. Okay, so I would recommend laying out your studs or your grommets, whichever word, but your studs, how you think you want. Making sure you like the spacing, making sure you like where it is before you do anything permanent. So I'm just gonna stick that here, here, just in your general idea. So I think I'm gonna smooth it up a little bit. And then with your pencil, right about there, I think. Remember, it's a constellation in the sky. It doesn't have to be perfect. So with your pencil, you're going to mark where your studs went. And they're going to get covered by the glue or by the stud, and by the paint, so it doesn't really matter. So we're just going to do that real quick. And if you make mistakes, it is okay. If you have extra paint, you can repaint over. You can do whatever you want. It is your craft. Okay, so once we have the idea of where we're going to put our stars or our studs, we're going to take those off. And now we're going to use our silver paint and our clean, dry paintbrush. And we're going to just a little bit. You can also use, if you want to use like the end of a different paintbrush or something else, you can. But you can very carefully start to dab and connect your stars. So take off all the extra paint. And again, if you mess up, it is okay. It's not really messing up. You can paint back over it. You can use the extra green or blue and black. Doesn't have to be perfect. Your pencil marks don't matter super much. Put that down here. Okay, so these are just going to connect our stars. So then I would recommend letting this dry before you start to glue on your studs so that you don't smear your lines. Okay, so we're gonna let this dry. Okay, so once all your paint is dry and you're ready to glue on or poke through, your choice. If you're using hot glue, be really, really careful of your hands and get grown-up help if you need it. And make sure you use a glue that's gonna dry clear, no matter which glue you use. So now we are going to carefully fill our studs with some glue. Remember, it's going to dry clear, and we're going to put them where our pencil marks were, kind of at the intersections or the joints of our silver lines. Okay, so we're just going to do that for each of our studs. Don't worry about your little traily bits if you're using hot glue. You can just carefully pick them off later. I tend to get a lot of the traily bits. But wait until your studs are dry on there to peel them off so it doesn't move your studs around. Okay. So again, you have a lot of studs. So you can pick you could do, if you want to make them smaller in scale, less spread out across your canvas. You could do a couple. You could do one big one. It's up to you to decide how you want yours to look. Okay, next one. Put that on there. Okay, so then make sure before you play around with it too much that your studs are dry on there. I'm gonna peel off the little glue hairs. Okay, and then we have our constellation art. So no matter what yours looks like, feel free to share it with us. Let us know how it goes. And otherwise, we hope you have a super fun time with this craft.